Tonight, Rand's Hillary plan.
There's a lot of stuff there that is, I think, going to shake the confidence of Americans.
Good to have you with us tonight, folks. Thanks for watching. Did you hear that comment from Rand Paul? There's just a lot of stuff there. Get your cell phones out. I want to know what you think. Tonight's question. Do you think Rand Paul's strategy of personally attacking Hillary Clinton will work? Our new system, you go to pulse.msnbc.com/ed. You cast your vote there. We'll bring you the results later on in the show. For more, let me bring in Lanny Davis, who is a columnist for The Hill, and Gehring, who is a political reporter for The Washington Post, and also with us tonight, Richard Viguerie, who some call the godfather of the conservative movement. He's a conservative strategist and chairman of conservativehq.com. Great to have all of you with us tonight. Mr. Viguerie, I can't wait. I've got to go to you first. Is it Ted Cruz or Rand Paul early on?
Well, they're kind of tied in terms of appeal to the conservative base. One of the things, Ed, that most candidates don't appreciate, in fact, most candidates, I don't think, know how to run for president. And number one, you've got to have a base. And both Ted Cruz has a base and Rand Paul has a base, as does Jeb Bush. Most of the other candidates are lacking any significant base. So I think they're both going to vie for conservative support. There's only two candidates in the race that I can see right now are likely to be candidates that can appeal to the conservative movement as their base. None of the other candidates are going to have a strong appeal to the conservative movement base. And Rand Paul and Ted Cruz right now kind of divide that base. Okay, so they're dividing the base, so you would give them some room here. You think that they have a legitimate shot at getting the nomination. That's how I would take that answer. All right. Yes. Okay.
And Rand Paul, is he going to be a media critic or is he going to be a serious candidate? Your thoughts?
Well, I certainly think he's, as you identified in your lead-in, he's taking a very early swipe at Hillary Clinton here. I mean, all of the Republicans are attacking her to some degree, and the Republican message machine that is behind them is attacking her every day. But he made it a point in his introductory speech and in many of the interviews he did afterwards to go directly at her. So that's clearly going to be one place where he thinks he can make his mark. He's always been a bit of a touchy-testy guy. I've never interviewed him myself, so I don't have any personal experience, but you see it a bit even in many interviews he's done over the time, over his whole time in the Senate, where he just gets his back up a little bit.
Oh, he does.
And, yeah. That may play well for him. I don't know. I mean, it's got he certainly isn't losing any points in going after a lot of mainstream media with exactly the base that he's trying to appeal to.
Lanny Davis, Hillary Clinton wrote a book, Living History. Are we going to be defending history? Are liberals going to have to put up with this? I mean, this clearly is the strategy of Rand Paul. Is this a problem?
It's not a problem. I have to just do one sidebar that it's an honor to be on the same show with Richard Viguerie, even though I disagree with him on almost everything. He's somebody who can articulate the conservative principles without personally attacking people, which is what Rand Paul does incorrectly. He is an attractive candidate, Mr. Paul. I've actually written a column about him years ago when he ran for the Senate, intrigued by his libertarian consistency along with his dad. But he begins his campaign in the last year is consistently being nasty and personally attacking Hillary Clinton rather than beginning with the words, I disagree with her position, and debating the issues, because he has appeal among independents. He's going to lose any appeal that he has by going nasty, and I think I shouldn't be giving Rand Paul advice because I hope he's the nominee, but
what do you think about that, Mr. Viguerie? What do you think about that?
Well, I likewise am thrilled to be on with my friend Lanny. It's been a long time.
We got a lot of love going on here tonight, but anyway.
Anyway, one of the things that is going to be important for a Republican candidate to convince the Republican primary caucus voters that they're going to fight. We're kind of, quite frankly, as conservatives, we're just very disappointed in most Republicans Republican leaders, John Boehner, Mitch McConnell, Mitt Romney, John McCain. They did not fight for our views and values. So whether it's Ted Cruz or Scott Walker or Rand Paul, we're going to be looking for somebody that's going to articulate the difference between Republicans and Democrats.
Well, do you want Hillary Clinton? Do you want to run against Hillary Clinton, Mr. Viguerie?
Absolutely. I think conservatives, Republicans would prefer Hillary over anybody else. She's got a big track record. She's got a lot of baggage, and she's a known quantity, and I think that she's going to have a very steep hill to climb to convince the American voters that she's trustworthy.
Okay.
She kind of like reminds us of Nixon, except without the charm.
Lanny, what about that?
Well, Richard couldn't resist getting a little personal shot in after I said such nice things about her. Look, Hillary Clinton has to earn the votes of moderates and independent voters. Her base is very strong. Women voters and progressive Democrats, very strong. But she's got to work hard from the very first moment when she announces, or if and when. And that hard work has to be to articulate issues that people like Richard Viguerie will disagree with, and then have a debate that will make the American people proud, but not throwing mud, and really dignifying what you heard from Rand Paul, which is just mudslinging, and the American people are tired of that.
And how do you think the American public is going to respond to what Rand Paul said day one on the campaign trail? The Clinton Foundation, there's a lot of stuff there. Hillary hasn't been truthful. Does this have a lot of leg in the media world? I mean, does this story have legs? Is this going to go somewhere? Is this going to be a viable strategy?
Well, I mean, it went somewhere today because he was pretty strong, and those attacks were more biting and more direct than we've heard from Republicans on her. So it was news today. But remember, he wasn't really talking to the American electorate at large today. He was talking to Republicans. He was firing up a base that he hopes to not only grab onto but to expand. I was really interested to hear how mainstream Republican he sounded, and not, you know, fringy libertarian in his remarks yesterday. I mean, he's clearly going for a wider base.
How do you think Hillary Clinton's going to respond to this kind of campaign against her, Lanny?
On issues. I've known her for a very, very long time, since law school, when her last name wasn't Clinton. And from the very first day I met her to this day, she's very fact-oriented, she's very issue-oriented, and I think she's open to changing her position on issues based upon new facts. And that kind of a debate with a thoughtful conservative will help the country whether she wins or loses. But she is not the kind of person or candidate who likes to engage in personal attacks, and will probably not do so even once in a while when provoked. She's tempted to attack back. I don't think she will.
And you know, Mr. Viguerie, Bill Clinton's got a pretty good record of beating you conservatives. I mean, and now the story today is that, you know, he's going to be a backstage strategist, and it's probably going to evolve from that.
Well, no question.
I mean, you run against the Clintons. You guys better be ready over there.
Her biggest asset, Ed, no question, is her husband. He's the master strategist. But Rand Paul's a new Republican. He's going to do something that no other Republican right now has shown that they are capable of doing, and be very attractive candidate to a lot of young people. He's a magnet for young people. Also, you're going to see Rand Paul talk about reform of the criminal justice system, talk about the Constitution. We haven't had Republican candidates for president that talks about reform of the criminal justice system, Constitution, other issues that appeal to a wide range of Americans, particularly young people.
All right, Richard Viguerie, Ann Guerin, and also Lanny Davis. Great to have you for the discussion tonight. I appreciate you being here.